What's up, everyone? Welcome to episode 2 of Build in Public. Today we're going to talk about game systems, our first feature within the game system, the ideation phase, the tabletop roleplay game Canvas. I'm so stoked about it. So we're going to pick up a little, if you missed the first episode, and kind of show you what we're looking at. So this is our dashboard. Like as soon as you log in or sign up, you're dropped in here. In this scenario, I've changed the data a little bit. So let's pretend I'm a new member of the Stockholm Cartel, who are the creators of Morkborg, arguably the greatest game in all of the multiverse. Fight me if you think different. So let's say that both Free League and Stockholm Cartel have Sanctum accounts. I, through some divine intervention, have been allowed to join the cartel. So I'm a new member. This is my account. So by nature, we can see how powerful Sanctum already is because I have a personal workspace regarding collaborative environments. So I have my own personal workspace that I can create all types of projects in. If I want to do stuff that I don't want Free League or the cartel to kind of have control over, this is my free space, if you will. Likewise, you can see that I'm also a member of Free League Publishing's workspace. So maybe I'm freelancing with them and working on Dragonbane and Alien RPG. These are the workspaces they are giving me access to. They have a much broader catalog, but I'm specifically a workspace member only working on these two projects. They have complete control on giving me read and edit access to whichever ones they want, whichever repositories they want, and these are repositories. Likewise, let me point out, both of these are internal. This means that only members of the workspace have access to those. Now let's check out Stockholm Cartel, where we have Morkborg, Cyborg. There's just keeping the seed data as small as possible just for this demo. So Morkborg, we can see that it's public. So that means that it's open source, essentially. So at its foundational level, Morkborg started as an open source project, from what I understand. And so this is so important because a lot of designers in the community create open source games. And so at its foundational level, Sanctum supports open source projects, which means that anyone outside of Sanctum can see the project and all the levels of the repository however much you want. But also, if you're a member and another designer of Sanctum, you can contribute to open source projects. And so those are public projects. So this is a massive benefit to the community already. So likewise, Cyborg, which also includes a description, we marked it internal, so only people of Stockholm Cartel can contribute to that or see it. So let's just capture, like, that's the collaboration benefits we're already providing out of the box. Now, what's even more powerful, we talked about last week, is that's also located in this same exact space as your license management. So because we're a part of Stockholm Cartel and Free League, we see the Free League licenses, and we also see the Morkborg. And because I'm a member of Stockholm, I have access to be able to update the Stockholm license if I wanted to. And because everything's connected within Sanctum, if I update this and change the version, it ripple effects to everyone else in Sanctum who is using that license to let them know, like, hey, this license is updated, here's the new thing. So already extremely valuable, extremely powerful, because we're bringing all the important stuff that matters to game systems and game system designs into one spot. So we're not here to talk about that. We're here to talk about the feature that we just built in the ideation phase. So I'm going to go into the Morkborg repository. This is where we hold all the Morkborg content. We can see that we have the core rulebook. It's published. And it's using the Morkborg license, of course. We have Rot Black Sludge, Hard for Me to Say, which is an adventure guide already published. So let's say that I'm a new person and of the team, and I want to create a new game. I'm going to base it off of this unofficial just zine I have laying around called the Month of Misery. So I'm going to create a new system within Morkborg called Month of Misery. And this is going to be a misery calendar to celebrate Morktober. And I'm going to make this public because I want it to be open source, and it's a draft. I'm essentially building it. And of course, in our license assistant, we want that Morkborg license. So I'm going to create that. And now we're dropped into the game system. We can see in our breadcrumb menu that we're in the Stockholm Cartel workspace, and we're in the Morkborg repository. You can navigate to any other thing within that menu. Okay, so now here's what we came to talk about today, the tabletop roleplay game Canvas. So at the highest level, we can see that we're in the Month of Misery system, and that Sanctum, has broken the game system down into 4 different sections to help with development and streamline. An ideation phase, a foundation phase, creation, and validation. Ideation is where we're going to stay today. This is the feature that we just finished building. This is you coming up with the concept. Foundation, of course, blocks, rules, formulas. This is your core mechanics that are directly going to contribute to your validation phase later, and everything else. Creation phase uses those foundational features to essentially build out your game system. Validation is essentially you collecting analytics from neural play through user testing sessions, so that way you know what you need to change, whatever, and all of that stuff. So we'll dive much deeper into those powerful features in the future. Today, let's talk about the ideation phase. We have a blog about this feature and how we recommend you utilize it for best practice that you can or cannot choose to do. So I'll try my best to remember to post that link within wherever we post this video. But let's talk about the canvas. What is the canvas? I keep saying this word, canvas. Ideation phase, it's easy to understand. The canvas, what does this mean? It says right here, it's a guided brainstorming map for game design. And we even go further to kind of retrain your brain that your canvas is the product. Your game is just an interpretation of your canvas. And we're going to take you through a 9-step system to help bring your game to life faster. So what does this mean? Your canvas is the product and your game is an interpretation of the canvas. Well, the canvas that we're about to see, this is actually inspired by a thing for startups and small businesses called the Lean Canvas. And it's essentially a grid layout that you devote 20 minutes to answering very specific questions about your business to validate to future customers to know, are you building the right thing or are you doing something that people are actually interested in buying? Are you solving the right problems? The Lean Canvas has helped so many startups become successful. We use the Lean Canvas. It's completely changed the game on how we approach everything. And this is our interpretation made specifically for game design and to help game designers. There are a lot of game designers that when it comes to the ideation phase, they have trouble collecting their thoughts in a structured way that helps contribute positively to designing a game. You can think of something that you just can't put into words. We help with that, and we help ask the right questions to give you a stronger foundation so you can build a more stronger game that has more could be successful, at a higher percentage. So let's just dive into the canvas first. I keep talking about it. Let's do it. So here it is. It's very simple. It's just boxes of concepts: player experience, core experience, problems, unique value proposition, core mechanics, gameplay loops, distinctive elements, channels, play testing, creative resources, scope, desired outcomes. You can see towards the end, we're starting to ask more business-minded questions, because these are things as a designer you also need to try and figure out early of how you're going to get it out to people. What is it actually going to cost? How much time do you want to spend on this project in general? But if this is your first time, we have a button up here called a leaner canvas, to where you can filter it down to just the foundational sections. If this is your first canvas, I highly recommend this is the route you take, because it will only show the foundational sections. So that way it's not as overwhelming. You don't have to worry about all these other features or all of these other sections. You could just focus on the foundational problems. So it doesn't matter if that's on or off for this, but I'm going to click in player experience because it's the first one. We want to start there. So notice that we bring up a form and it asks a very specific question and gives us a little more context to help us to be able to answer and start ideating and putting our thoughts into a concept that's a strong foundation that we can actually validate before we start building. So for example, who is this game for? Be as specific as possible. Avoid broad categories, because if a game is for everyone, then it's for no one. So the target players are people who love Morkborg. I'm just going to abbreviate. Celebrating the Morktober. Forgive me for not doing the 2 dots a bit. So that's pretty specific. And you notice as soon as I submit that, I now have a reference that's easy to access. So it doesn't matter where I'm at in the system, I can continue to reference who our target players are for easily. If I want to edit this, I just go back into editing mode and just edit it. And there it is. It's always there. So the entire experience is literally, there's just this. It's a thinking framework that we provide to you, asking very important questions that contribute to your game design and allow you to be more successful and have a stronger foundation in your game design. So why is this so important? Well, now we're co-locating. Not only are we giving you a collaborative environment and co-locating your license material, now we're co-locating your ideas and essentially the foundation that creates your game system. So not only is it in the same spot where you're actually creating your game system, but you now have this permanent reference material where everything is in the same spot. You don't have to try and find where your notes were. But essentially, let's talk about this concept where a lot of people kind of spend as less time as possible ideating and spend more time building. We want you to kind of reverse that concept. We challenge you to reverse. We say this is the product because once you answer all these questions, you should have a strong enough foundation, and by answering the unique value proposition, which is essentially how are you going to pitch this to other people to see if they like it, you're going to know pretty quickly if people are interested in this idea or not. And if they're not, instead of building the game, because we have essentially stopped at the ideation phase, we want to validate, the canvas outcome first. Now we're not wasting time building something, or rushing into building is a better way of saying it, and then rushing into publishing, and then no one buys our game system or no one can find it because we've spent more, like we skipped over a foundational important aspect of game design, which is validating the idea, before we spend time building it. So this is the level of thinking that we are bringing to the table with Sanctum. Is not only is it helping you streamline and scale your game design throughout the history of existence, but also provide a strong foundation that lives in that same history of the ideation tools and notes and everything that creates a strong game system. Learning this at its core is going to be groundbreaking for a lot of designers, but this is what we have. I'm so proud of this because even though it's so simple, it's like licensing. It's so simple, but it's once you fill it out and once you understand how to use it to your advantage, it's going to change the game of tabletop game design and allow the community to experience much stronger games in the future. So that's it for episode 2. Thanks for hanging in there. It's a little longer. Peace.